Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. This is our final match preview of the 24-25 Premier League season. Been a journey, guys. It's been a journey, but we are here. Game week 38, and you have been here with us all the way. So, if you are new to our channel, make sure you are subscribing. We are edging and drifting closer to 25k. Let's see if we can get there before the end of the season. So we've got till the end of this sort of week. Make sure you're commenting your thoughts and drop a like. Let's try and go big on this one. Last one then. So let's go 1,000 likes on this episode. So on today's show, we're going to take an in-depth look at Manchester United. We're going to have a look at how we're feeling, how we're feeling about Villa qualifying, etc. So we're going to go to the tactical pad. We're going to have a look at images, a heat map we need to look at as well. So get yourself a drink and enjoy the show. Right, so last game of the season. It's a big one, guys. It's got everything riding on it. It's got Champions League qualification riding on it. It's got final day, checking phones, checking screens, watching other games as well. It's got that vibe to it as well. So as a fan going into it, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling confident we can get the job done. And then I'm actually feeling quite confident that something else can happen elsewhere. So the biggest thing for me is that I think we're going to go to Old Trafford and win, which is something that we don't really do, but we'll get into them in a second. So I do feel like we are going to win. We're too good at the minute for them. And then the other permutation that I think is going to happen is I look at that Forest game and I think I'm trying to imagine if that was us. So if we were in sort of, go back to the Conference League game when we qualified for it, and we'd got to win. We'd got to beat Brighton, hadn't we? And, the euphoria, the vibe, the intensity from the crowd, the players knew what they had to do. That's Forest. Forest fans are going there with a chance of being able to get into the Champions League if things go their way. So if they beat Chelsea and we have a bit of a mare, then they'll get Champions League. So for Forest, there's everything on that game. And can Chelsea cope with the Forest intensity? And I'm not sure whether they will be able to do that. They played okay with 10 men away at Newcastle. But again, 11v11, they weren't that great. And I just feel that pressure on Chelsea. And Forest are a team that we know what Forest can do, don't we? If you go there with possession, try and play your way, you open yourself up slightly, boom, you lose your 1-0. And that's what Forest can do. So I back Forest to get something, whether it's a draw or whether it's a win. That will be enough for Aston Villa. So I'm all eyes and ears and praying and fingers crossed and manifesting that Forest something. Then you've got Newcastle. Like, you look at Newcastle and you go, they'll beat Everton at home. But Everton are just the same. They're a team that are confident, playing well, nothing to fear. They're a team that Newcastle could have problems with, especially Beto, etc. Pressure on them to win as well. Playing up against a team that are pretty solid. They've got Pickford in goal. Sunderland, I know there's always a little bit of a vibe there. I think Everton got a decent record against Newcastle as well. I think I've read or heard that this week. So, guys, I'm taking anything I can. Anything I can take, I'm taking. So that's a tough game in itself because Everton are doing decent. So we only need one of those to draw and we win and we've got it. So that's where I'm at. So looking ahead to it, I'm confident that we can get the job done. I'm looking forward to it. It has been a long season. It's been a long season. It's been a draining season at times with sometimes how we've performed, etc. And just the intensity of being a fan going to watch Champions League and all the home games. And it's just been one of them seasons where I think I'm ready for it to end. I think I'm ready for the bit of a. I'm ready for transfer, guys. That's what I'm ready for. I'm fed up of tactics and stuff. I just want transfers. That's it. That's where I think I'm at. But no, in all seriousness, I've loved it. Like, it's been great. It's been brilliant covering Villa and going on this journey with all of you guys as well. So it's been wicked. One of the probably the best season I've ever had watching Aston Villa. Right. Strap yourself in for this one, because I am going in on Manchester United, guys. I am going in. I am a hurt person for Man United. I've been like you all. I've been hurt. I've been at school full of Man United fans when I was growing up as a kid. All my mates were Man United, and being a Villa fan, we weren't that bad, but it was just, you could never have banter with them because they're just too good. We would play well, but we would lose. It was just a torrid time. So to see him still in the gutter, guys, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I really dislike Manchester United. They are probably the one team that I dislike the most, just for that reason of nostalgic childhood hurt, really. But Amorim's coming, guys, and I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced at all. I keep hearing this rhetoric from the media and Neville and Ferdinand and Scholes and all those boys saying he needs his players. He needs his players. I just don't buy it, because I'm not seeing enough right now to suggest that once he gets his players, whether that is going to even work in itself. And have they not been in this rinse and repeat cycle before? Because didn't we hear Ten Hag needs his players? Once Ten Hag gets his players, they will be better. And to be fair, he weren't actually doing that bad. That I think Amorim has made them worse. He's made them worse for me than what Ten Hag had. You know, Ten Hag got 15 points this season, and Amorim's got 24 in more games. So Ten Hag got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 15 points in 7 games. Amorim's got 24 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. So I'm just not seeing enough there. I don't think this formation is great either. I don't think it's hybrid Premier League enough. I think it's massively getting exposed. I think they're full of excuses. And I also think Amorim's a little bit, he's gone in there and I feel like he's pandered to the fan base slightly and played a bit of a, if I say we're really bad and the fans know we're really bad, then I'll get on board with them a little bit more. Do you catch my vibe? I know Ten Hag was a bit more like, sort of like saying that they were better than what, but I just really believe that this whole notion of them just saying what you want the fans to, I don't think it's a good thought. I think you should be saying, coming out with bigger, more expansive things of and showcasing what you can do. So what I'm trying to say is that the fact that he's going, this is my style, this is how I play, I think that's bad idea as a coach. Like, as a coach, to just go, that's all I've got, and that's how I'll play. And I've got no tactical flexibility around this at all. I just don't get it. And I know you could caveat and go, but he's trying to build an identity and he's trying to build a philosophy, and the players that can come in will just drop into his philosophy. But they don't, it's not there. It's not there. It's not the right club to be able to do that. You know, say if it was Villa, you know, okay, everybody can get on board, and you can build that because you've probably got less pressure, you got more time. But at Manchester United, you don't have that. You don't have that, and you've got to read the Manchester United room a little bit and look at it and go, how are you going to get rid of these players? How are you going to get rid of Harry Maguire? How are you going to get rid of Dalot? How are you going to get rid of Casemiro? Like, you can't just say they're not going to be here. I'm just going to get rid of them, because who's taking them? Like, who is taking them? So I just feel like this whole system of Amorim, it's very basic and it's very just averagely bog standard. So let me show you what I mean by the formation and how rigid and how structured it is and how just average it is. Right. So here we go then. So this is Manchester United formation. So what you can see is that they are playing with a 5 at the back. And when any team plays with a 5 at the back, they don't want it to be that 5. They want it to be a 2 or a 3. And why I say a 2? Because in football now, in the modern game, football is all about having less numbers at the back and more numbers at the front. That's what we're all trying to do. You look at, say, PSG, they want to have 2 centre halves. Their wing backs go forward into midfield, and that's how they're operating, playing across the front line. Villa will be a 3 or a 2, and then we will have width asymmetric. We'll have 5 players up front. That's the shape that we want to get into with possession. So this is what Manchester United want to do, and this is the shape that they're currently getting into. And they're getting into this flat back 3. So the flat back 3 with wing backs that are getting forward, it's fine. Then what you're getting is 2 number 10s who are playing very narrow and very central, and a striker. And then you've got Bruno Fernandes, who is doing Bruno Fernandes things and playing literally everywhere on the pitch. And that's just Bruno. That's just the way he plays. He's a great player. As a person and as a player that doesn't have the ball at the feet, I don't like him. But the ball at his feet, he's a brilliant, brilliant footballer. And he operates all across here. Now, what you'll be able to notice is big problem number 1. And for me, this is the biggest problem for Manchester United. And I have no idea why this is allowed to happen. Casemiro. If you have a look at Casemiro, and we're going to go through in a second, we're going to take a look at every single average positions from about the last 5 games. And you're going to start to see a big pattern with Manchester United. And this area for Casemiro is tactically just ridiculous. Because what's happening is when Manchester United are in possession and are getting forward and they are in these attacking areas, this is what their team's looking like. It's looking like a front 6-1-3. So Casemiro or Ugarte is so isolated in the middle of the park. And then they've got this flat back 3 that is just so rigid and stays there that they've just got distance problems. And the distance problems is something that I think they're having a massive problem with under Amorim. The distance between the attackers, the midfielders, and the defenders is too big. Nobody's cutting it and coming inside. And when I talk about it being more hybrid and something that you'd expect this hybrid system to be, is you probably would expect something like this to happen. So Shaw goes and makes up a back. You've got a back 2 and a midfield 2. And then you've got your forward players. So that's something that hybrid and something that I would expect this United team to be doing, but they're not. It's just flat back 3 with Casemiro in there on his own. And then all these attackers. And then you've got the width that's meant to be coming from out wide. Does it? Does it not? Sometimes it does. So that's generally what's happening with them. And if we have a look at their passing network from the game against Spurs in the Europa League final, you can see that this same thing actually happened in this game as well. So you've got your 3 centre halves. You've got your player in the middle that I just spoke about. And have a look at that massive ring there that's all around him. There's not a player that's anywhere near him that's offering any cover, any protection. we've got Bruno's average position, which is here. He's obviously got a really big network with a lot of players as well. Striker, isolated. One number 10 and another one. So you've got Diallo, who wants to drift out wide because he is more of a winger anyway. So you've kind of got that little bit of an issue of he probably needs to be in there so Bruno can be moving around. Do you see what I mean? So it's really disjointed. Keeper is absolutely atrocious anyway. We already know that. So yeah, big problems. And then here now we've got the average positions from this game against Tottenham. So again, we can see back three. We've got Casemiro. We've got nobody around Casemiro. We have then got here Mount, we've got Diallo, we've got Striker, and we've got Bruno as well. So you can start to see like where these problems are for Man United. If we have a look, and actually, before we get into that, I want to show you this as well. So this is another problem with their system, and it's Bruno. So as we know that Bruno is meant to be playing in there, supporting the central midfielder and actively probably being in this area here. There. But if you actually look at his heat map, a lot of his work is done in that area and that area. Not a lot of his work is really done in that area. Look how sparse that colour is. So again, you can see that because he's not in there centrally with the central midfielder, and a lot of his work's happening elsewhere out wide and sort of on that left side inside channel, that's where their system is starting to fall apart, really. Again, I want to show you this about how rigid it is. And this was 76th minute against Spurs in the Europa League final. Again, let's have a look at how rigid this formation is. So we've got 3 centre halves, wing back. We've then got Casemiro, Bruno, wide player, striker. Look how dense that is there. There's nothing there. It's just this formation and how they're playing is a relegation system for me. It might have been hybrid in Portugal, but what happens, and I always say this, anybody that plays with a back 5, I don't really rate that formation that highly, because what ends up happening is when you have to defend, and when you are defending zones in the pitch, there is a habit of your defenders making up a back 5. That for me is not what you want to be able to do. You want to have protection with your 4 there, but you also want him to be high here, and then they make up that sort of winger role. It's okay being a back 5, 6 when you're defending on the edge of your box. Like most teams do that. Villa will drift into a back 6 or a back 7 or whatever at times, but not when you sort of like, what is that, sort of like 3/4 of the way up in your own half. You don't want it to be that. You don't want your back line to be that shape when you sat there. So this system and this team is just no good. And you can see the Spurs tactic. Like, win that midfield battle centrally, and you will be able to get more touches on the ball, more control in the ball. Because why? Because if you're controlling that area of the pitch there, well, there's only one Man United player in that circle. So you know that if you can force the ball out wide or force the ball into certain areas, they're flat tracking there with that back line. They're setting their defensive just space. Get a little runner out there, etc., or a little runner out there, drag them about a bit. So yeah, I really wanted to just highlight that image because it's so telling. And yeah, we'll fly through some of these images now. Again, this was against Chelsea. Let's have a look at where a big problem lies here. It's in there again. You can see that the central midfielder is isolated. So big problem there. Front line narrow. What you get with Mount, Bruno, Højlund, Dalot, or Xerxes is there's a lack of wanting to defend there. So you can take those players and push them further forward. That's fine. And say, right, they're going to attack that line there. And then the defenders are going to be there. Win that battle in there, which is something that Villa will look to do. And we look to play centrally. So we should get a lot of joy in this game, playing vertically, playing through the lines. Again, we've got another one here. This one was a little bit different, but again, you can see that there's more space through those areas. There's space here and here. There's space in behind those defenders as well. This was against West Ham that they lost. We've got another one. This was against Bilbao, where they actually went a little bit more narrow in this one. So you can see that they've got a midfield 2 in there. They've got a wing back through there. So they did pack that out a little bit. So that's probably the best one that it looks like for compact organisation. And then we've got this one against Brentford, where, look at that again, flat lining, flat tracking. We've got just one central midfielder. So just not a great system. And I've ripped it apart, to be fair, but I just don't rate it. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't rate it. I don't think it's that great. And I think personnel-wise, I don't think it really matters who you put in there. You could put Ugarte in there. Ugarte is a good, solid central midfielder, but even when he plays, it's no good. And I look at the system and I go, well, you've actually got 3 decent centre-halves in there, really. Maguire is a good aerial presence, heads everything away. Yoro can play. So where does it evolve? Where does it get better? Where do they move away from just having like 3 centre-halves at the back? I don't know, guys. Like, I'm not a Man United fan, but it's not very, very good. And then I think you get sort of like off-field Man United stuff. And they're not really liked in that aspect, are they? With like Jim Ratcliffe, sort of everything you read about not sending people to the final, cutting lunches. Yeah, just it feels like out of our depth. Like all we want to do is have like a nice new shiny stadium, and it's like, but you're billions of pounds in debt. How can you afford that? It's absolutely ridiculous. And one thing that really opened my eyes was when Gary Neville interviewed him, and he was talking about sort of ways of making money. And Neville suggested, like, why can't you do like dinners where players speak and fans can go? And he was actually like, what a good idea. And this leads me on to this point a little bit about football in general across the board, of being able to like listen to fans more. And it's not just a Manchester United thing. It can be a Villa thing. It can be every club thing, is that fans actually have some like really good ideas on what could happen and what fans want. And sort of that idea of like more talks, etc., and just building things, and people will go to things. And I just think there needs to be a little bit more of that in football, especially of just listening to what fans want more, and being able to deliver, especially for their experiences and stuff. So I think that's like a football across the board thing. So, you know, that's probably, I think that's quite a good tactical breakdown of United, to be fair, guys. Last one, we're going out on a bit of a bang there, I reckon. So what can we expect from Man United? I kind of waited for the Europa League final to be done, because I don't feel like we could have done a preview before that final, because we need to talk about what happened after it. So where does that leave them? It leaves them in a very, very bad place. And I think it's to Villa's advantage now that the fans are all in uproar about the way they played, the manager's tactics, the manager's substitutions. And I think it's all coming to light, really. I think they've probably been a bit blindsided by the fact that they were still in the Europa League, in the sense of we could win the Europa League. And I think they've downplayed a little bit what's gone on in the Premier League as much as they could. I don't know how you could do that, but you know, the fact that where they are in the Premier League, they've won nothing. They've also not qualified for any form of European football for next season, which I said at the start of the season for Villa, if Villa had no European football next season, it would be an absolute disaster. So you need European football. You need those revenue streams. You need to be able to compete. You need more games. You just need European football. The fact that they haven't got it, no good. It's just not good. So, as a club, they need it. So their atmosphere is going to be tragic. It's going to be low. They're going to be so flat, no confidence. And it's important that Villa rock up and do the job. How will Villa approach it? I think we approach it exactly how we've approached the last couple of games. And I think the game against Spurs was good, because I think what we was able to do is do what good teams do. Just wear them down. Wear the opposition down. You are the better team. Make no mistakes. Wear them down. And eventually they'll fall back into type and they will concede goals. And that's what I expect this Manchester United team to do. There probably will be some players that get rotated. Some get rested because they've come back from injuries. But I think if Villa approach it in the right way, right mentality, right application, be calm, composed, we've got too much. And I think one player for me that I think is going to stand out is Ollie Watkins. I think he will be that player. He will be that player for me that will get the job done. And I just think his running power will be too much for this Manchester United team. And I think he'll be able to stretch that back line. And I think he'll be able to cause them just massive amounts of problems. And I just can't wait for it, really. I can't wait for the game. I want to be able to embrace it, guys. I want to be able to embrace the game. And I want to be able to for Villa to enjoy it and get the job done. Right, so what we're going to do, we are going to predict what's going to happen, guys. We are going to predict it. So we're going to predict the last round of games, what's going to happen. So we'll predict them all. So Bournemouth will round off a really good season against Leicester with a 2-0 win. Fulham, I've got draw on this, guys. I've got draw on this. I think Fulham's last game at Craven Cottage this season, I think Fulham could get a draw against City. This one, how do you call this one? We'll go with an Ipswich win. Liverpool could have goals in it, so we'll go 2-2. Man United Villa, I am going to go with a 3-0 Aston Villa win. I think we run riot here. I really do think we're going to run riot. Newcastle Everton. I'm going to go narrow Newcastle win. Forest Chelsea. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest. Southampton Arsenal. That'll be probably like a 3-0. Spurs will be on the beach, so we'll go Brighton 2-0. And Wolves will go 1-1 with Brentford. Right, let's calculate it. Calculated it. And Villa, in my reckoning, will get Champions League football. We'll be level on points with City, Newcastle, and Villa get it with 69 points. Forest, 68. Chelsea are in the Conference League, in my reckoning. So Brighton finish 8th. So Brighton get Europe if this happens. If Chelsea win the Conference League, I think an extra place is going to the league if that scenario happens. So Brighton would get European football. I'm sure they do. So that is what I have gone with. Right. So, guys, it's been a long season and we've got to make sure that we end it the best we possibly can and do our part. We go there, we win, and then the rest is out of our control. but that's what I want Villa to do. Villa have already qualified for Europe this season, which is brilliant. But if it can't be Champions League, it has to be Europa League. So that's why Villa winning is vitally important in this game. And I just want to see us get it. If we could get it, the celebrations would be absolutely insane. So hopefully we do it. Let me know your score predictions. If you've enjoyed this episode, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts. Up the Villa.